Hi there! I recently finished this guy, Mr. Moloch of the Minotaurs. It's a rebuild of the original Forgeworld model. I used many of the other original parts. So I got the original model and I used his bottom legs and the chest and the shoulders and the shield and the spear. But I gave him some new legs and some new arms and a new cape, and mainly because the proportions of the Moloch model are a bit off, especially compared to the more recent Tartaros Terminators. So I took some parts of the plastic Tartaros Terminators and I swapped them out with the resin parts, and I changed the pose as well into a bit more aggressive stance instead of a defensive pose that the Forgeworld model has. Now, when I made this, I got some questions on how does it stack up to the plastic models. Well, here's a comparison, and I also have a Tartaros Cataphractii Terminator next to it, and I made some videos about the scale of the Tartaros and the Cataphractii before, so I won't go into very much detail here. You can check the other videos, but you can see there's a bit of a height difference, especially between the Tartaros. The Tartaros is a bit off, and when I started working on Tartaros, I made a couple of videos on different versions of Tartaros. So if you take like the original Tartaros plastic, what I did is I made a resize of this model. So it's not actually true scaling, but it's just a resize of that model. And here I have it painted up. It's not the painting is not finished yet, but it's getting closer. And you can see the height difference there already. And what I also did is I took a Primaris Marine and I sculpted my own Tartaros armor on top of it, which is what you see here. And then next to that I have the Mr. Moloch here, so we can have a bit of a scale comparison between what all the various techniques do. So actually the first one is quite nice already, I would say. It adds more height and slightly more realistic proportions. This one is easiest on the proportions because it uses a Primaris Space Marine model to get the proportions right, but it takes more sculpting as you need to make all the armor plates yourself. And then finally we have this one taking an old Forgeworld, or just a Forgeworld model, and scaling that up a bit. Yeah, they stack up pretty well together. I think these are all roughly the same size and the same proportions, which makes kind of sense because because I made all three of them. Anyway, they're definitely a step up compared to the plastic Terminators if you put them together the way they're supposed to go. And the Cataphractii, which are actually not that bad. They stack up pretty nicely as well. So in one of the previous videos I also explained how I upsized the Cataphractii. The Forgeworld Moloch model is very nice. It's very detailed, and the details do really still hold up. It's just the proportions that are more noticeable now that the rest of the range is scaled more realistically. Alright, so there we have it. 3 ways of upscaling Tartaros armor. The most finished one here you can see is the Forgeworld resin model rescaled with plastic components. The second one is taking the plastic components and resizing them a bit. And the third one is taking a Primaris Marine and then sculpting your own Tartaros armor on top of it. Yeah, thanks a lot for watching. If you have any more questions, feel free to let me know and I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.